Fandom, how's it going? Today I'm going to be reviewing Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's 0 Year Secret City. Let's get into it. So the story is written by Scott Snyder and art by Greg Capullo. Scott Snyder is a guy that you've probably heard of in the industry many times over because he's been writing Batman for like the past 5 years, along with the art from Greg Capullo. Now, 0 Year Secret City was an attempt by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo to tell the origin of the Batman in New 52 continuity because they figured, hey, it hasn't been done before, and this continuity, starting in New 52, is a bit of a train wreck and a mess. Seriously, nobody knows what's going on in that continuity right now. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo were actually very hesitant to take on this project at the time because of the fact that they knew right off the bat they would get reactions to, oh, it's not as good as Batman Year One, written by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli. But they went with it, and I think the end result is something that's really well done, especially in this first half of the story. As the story starts out, Bruce Wayne has just come back from being absent from Gotham. He's gone on his whole whirlwind trip, and he's here now, and he's trying to figure out, how can I take on this one-man war against crime? How can I deal with this rising tide of evil and villains that seem to be popping up and all this other stuff? On top of that, we have what is now known as the Red Hood Gang. The Red Hood Gang is a newly formed gang that may or may not be led by the Joker, and I'll leave that up to your interpretation after you finish reading this. And they have big plans for Gotham City. If you've been reading Scott Snyder's run on Batman, he kind of continues the same themes that he's been doing throughout the entire series, where he's exploring Bruce Wayne's relationship with Gotham City, and he's almost treating Gotham City like if it is his own person. Bruce Wayne is obsessed with crime fighting in this series, and he's got kind of this almost fetishistic love of the city, and he's got this overbearing, I have to protect the city, I have to protect the people in this city, based upon what happened to me as a young child. I never want to see anybody go through what I went through in my city. Something I think that Scott Snyder also does really well in this is that he properly introduces the Riddler into the DC New 52 universe in this run. Yes, he showed up little bits here and there, but this is actually his proper introduction, and in a way kind of gives his origin story in here as he's working for Wayne Tech and he's working for Philip Kane and some of the stuff that he's getting into, and it sets up properly the second half of 0 Year, which I think is actually the highlight of this run. So let's talk about the art in this. Greg Capullo's art continues to impress throughout the entire run, and the guy's killing it on every panel. The guy's just impressive, really. He's got kind of this very cartoony style, and like I said before in a previous video, if you've ever seen his art on Spawn or anything like that, the guy got a lot of hate before he jumped onto Batman. Greg Capullo's action sequences continue to flow wonderfully well throughout the entire series, and it all culminates in a huge battle in the Ace chemical plant facility where Red Hood and Batman go at it for the first time. Now, if you know anything about the Ace chemical plant facility, you know what that eventually leads to, and I'm not going to give anything else away, but really the art just continues to be top-notch in this entire thing, all the way to the honorable tribute that Greg Capullo did to Detective Comics' famous cover, Detective Comics 26. He does a nice little spread in here for that. Now, in this hardcover, all the backup issues that were in the single issues are in here, and they are written by Scott Snyder and James Tynion, with art by Rafael Albuquerque, who is Scott Snyder's longtime collaborator in American Vampire. The main difference here from this single issues is that all the backup stories are all placed in the back. So 0 Year flows very well. You don't get interrupted by, oh great, now I kind of have to read a backup issue, even though they are pretty well done, and I did enjoy them. And I think Rafael Albuquerque's art really does help the story, and it really works well. And it kind of explores Bruce Wayne's travel across the world. There's an issue in here where it starts out with Bruce Wayne. He's riding in a car, and he's in Rio de Janeiro trying to break away from the cops. Really fun stuff, and it's just supplemental material. It really doesn't need to be read unless you want to get the entire thing. So I'm going to give credit where credit is due and say DC actually put together a very nice and beautiful hardcover collection here with the first draft script of Scott Snyder's issue 21 included in the back of this, and some variant covers. That stuff is usually material you do not expect to see in a standard hardcover edition. Usually they save that for special editions and oversized omnibuses and things like that. And with that, I will say, DC, good job on that one. Overall, if you're just getting into Batman, you don't have to buy the 3 trades before this. You can pick up Volume 4, 0 Year Secret City. You will not be lost. It's a great origin story for Batman, a great jumping on point for somebody that is just getting into the character. And I think they will enjoy it as well. And it doesn't feel dated because it's very modern age. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I do weekly reviews of trade paperbacks, hardcovers, and special editions of comic books. Check out my other videos. Let me know what your favorite Riddler story is, or let me know what your favorite Riddler moment is. Comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook. You guys are awesome as always. Love to hear back from you. Bye.